You believe in the Day of Judgment?
I think it will come. I
Okay.
don't know what that looks like. I'm not
No, neither do I. We don't know what it's going. We are giving certain glimpses of it in the Islamic literature, but
It
none of
doesn't
us.
look too good for women, though.
No. Hold on. By the way, whether women or men, one thing in Islam is clear:
Yeah.
that Allah will not judge you based on your gender, or whether you're white or black, or you're rich or poor, you're Arab or non-Arab. Allah will base you on your piety. He'll judge you based on your piety.
So what's the woman's version of heaven?
You do not subscribe to a religion so far from
No, I don't subscribe to
Okay, so because you do not subscribe to an organized religion,
Yes.
which have their own religious scriptures,
Yeah.
how would you verify what to take as the do's and the don'ts? Is it based on your own?
It's my own lived experience.
Okay, so is your own experience? Could your own whims and desires come into that?
Here we go. If we look at where I'm from and where you're from, have our lives been any different? Probably.
Everyone's lives are different. Even your parents compared to you might be different.
Have we both done right or wrong in our lives?
Yes, we all are sinners. Yeah.
It's what you've done in your life, and what I've done in my life, any good, or any worse, or any better than the other.
I don't know how that answers my question.
Okay. Are you respectful to your neighbours?
I am. Yeah.
Am I respectful? To
I don't know.
Yeah.
How would I know?
Okay.
Okay.
You don't know, but I took your answer as a yes.
That's
okay?
fine. I mean,
Right?
I'll take your testimony. No problem.
Okay, so am I kind to people? Are you kind to people?
Yeah, I am, but not to the wicked people.
Right, okay. So, do I treat men appropriately?
I don't know.
Do I treat women appropriately? Yes, I do, because I've been brought up to be respectful of both.
Right.
So I've been brought up with that experience of the world. So, from your perspective, what can I do to improve my life experience?
Actually, I'm not here to tell you how you can.
No, but I'm asking.
No, no.
I've asked you an open
I think the question I asked, once again, it looks like it hasn't been answered. I said, how will you pick what is good and bad? Because you see, what might be good for you might be bad for your parents. What might be bad to your parents might be good to you. So even though you're born in the same country, lived in the same maybe environment, the same neighborhood, yeah, your perspective and your parents' perspective might be different. So how will you as an individual who do not subscribe to a religion, where you get your do's and don'ts from a scripture, how will you determine what is good and bad? Because good and bad are subjective.
Okay. So here we go. Like I said to you again, you don't know me, I don't know you. I live my life as I choose to live my life, and you live your life by a set of religious rules, okay? That would be correct?
That's fair, yeah. That's a fair analysis.
Okay. Does it make our lived experience any different?
Okay. Are you at all going to answer my question? Because it looks like every time I ask you this question, you try to put it back to me.
I'm not doing that. All I'm saying to you is...
So please answer the question.
Right. Well,
how would you determine good and bad if they are subjective?
Well, basically, my determination of good and bad is my lived experience and what my parents taught me. And also about looking at the world and observing it and going, what things can hurt people and what things can better people. So if I choose the better path, which is something my father taught me, to choose the better path, and if I'm kind to people and respectful of people and treat people as I find them and not judge them, then basically I'll live a good life. So I was quite lucky in the sense that my parents taught me from a good base, a good set of rules and a good set of expectations, and I have set those rules and expectations in my life. Now where they've got them from is from years and years and generations of probably like your parents, where you got your values from and your rules from, and how we treat our peers and the people we are near to. So I didn't get it from a religion. My values may have come from a set of rules that my parents gave me, but I would say to you that I don't think I've suffered any because of my journey.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, may I ask a question, both of you, in order to identify what's good and bad? So the question is, the common sense is universal?
I think so. I think people know, like, if you steal, it's bad. Yes. If you murder, it's bad. If you hit a woman, it's bad. Yes.
What if you hit a man?
It's bad.
I hope you said that as well. Okay.
If you hit a man, it's
Yeah.
bad.
And so, generally speaking, you don't need to be religious to identify exactly what you said. An atheist could say everything that you said, and they could be a good person. In fact, there are many good atheists, some of them better than these so-called people who claim to practice a religion. So I don't know how I would differentiate you from an atheist, because what you said is going based on your own whims and desires, and this is something, like I said many times, biases come in. For example, if you live in the West here, your dress code might be different to you living in the East. Yeah, they might consider that sometimes the people in the West, they dress provocatively, and they will judge them based on them. Similarly, the people living in the West, they will judge a Muslim woman who is only showing her eyes in her. Hear me out, please. I'll let you finish. Okay? So you see, the perspective can differ. Even though that woman who might be just showing her eyes is covering for the sake of her religion and modesty, but you, because you come from a different culture and background, you will judge her. It's like, was it Nigel Farage, or was it one of the prime ministers? Some
Boris Johnson.
Yeah, Boris Johnson. Call them basically like bin bags or something like that, or post boxes or whatever. So you see, the perspectives do differ, and that's why we need a more streamlined set of rules of the do's and the don'ts that come from someone who is much higher than us, who will not use, which the rules are not based on an individual's whims and desires. Because you see, you do acknowledge that you're wrong in your life many times, right?
Well, we are wrong.
Exactly. So how would you say that this conclusion you came to, what is good and bad, is you're not wrong about that?
Okay. So, going back, right?
Yeah.
My opinion is that the perception is that I think that I don't dress ultra provocatively.
Oh, no, I don't mean you personally. I said the West, that's why. Yeah.
Right, I don't dress ultra provocatively.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Right, but if a woman, because of her religion, chooses to wear the niqab and follow that practice, that is entirely her choice. It's from
Beautiful, yeah. I like the fact that you knew the term niqab.
Yes.
Okay, mashallah.
It's
Okay.
absolutely her choice.
Yeah.
Because her scripture demands, the Quran commands that, although it's unofficially not in the Quran, the term hijab is not in the Quran. It is a form of covering that is in the
No, the
Quran.
description is there.
Yeah, the description is there.
Yeah.
But there are variations of that description. But if a woman wants to wear the hijab, I have no problem with that, because I acknowledge that she is free to practice her religion, and so she should be.
Okay.
Without judgment.
No, that's fair. You see, and that's where we come to. I mean, that was a beautiful answer. And if, like, when I mentioned about good and bad, again, we come down to life choice. For example, I don't know if you are pro-choice or pro-life.
Depends on the circumstances.
The circumstance is, let's say, accidental pregnancy.
Accidental pregnancy would depend again on the circumstances.
Yeah, when nobody's life is in danger.
Okay, it would depend on the circumstances.
And the people who got pregnant are not poor.
It would depend on the circumstances.
Which circumstance would you actually agree with abortion being okay?
Okay, it's a very difficult. I'm not going to be talking about that subject specifically, because I think it's full of pitfalls, and I don't want to really discuss it, if that's fair.
Okay, so you see, this is an uncomfortable question. I can understand that. No, that's fine. You give your answer. No problem. I totally respect that.
If we move forward,
Yeah, I totally respect that. You see, this is an uncomfortable question, but the fact that there are like millions of children being aborted, and majority of them, more than 95% of them, okay, are because of accidental pregnancies, unplanned pregnancies, and their parents actually many times can afford it. And
here's the thing.
no, but let me just finish the point.
Here we go.
Okay.
I'm not going to go down this road.
I'm not asking you to answer that.
So
Let me make my point, because you believe in.
No, I've said to you.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
I've said to you, be my witness. I do not want to carry on with this part of the conversation.
Okay.
I would like you to move on.
Okay.
I don't want you to make a point, because I've asked you politely to move on.
All right, that's fine. No problem. It's uncomfortable for you. That's fine. No problem. But it's the reality of life. If you want to not discuss about it, that's fine. I respect that. What about alcohol?
I don't drink.
I didn't say you did. I said, what about alcohol?
Alcohol is like...
Should it be banned or should it be permitted in the societies?
Here's the thing.
Yeah, go on.
You can have alcohol and you can have cigarettes.
Yeah. By the way, I don't drink or smoke, and I consider them both to be wrong.
I think that alcohol and cigarettes should be, if you would choose to do it, it's up to you.
Really?
Again,
I thought you were against harming people.
I don't.
No, I didn't say you personally.
I have alcohol maybe once a month, but very rarely, and I don't smoke. Never.
Once a month.
Once a month.
Okay. Do you know the finding from the scientific communities, and this is actually in peer-reviewed journals where they say no amount of alcohol is safe, and they have done thorough studies of this with thousands upon thousands of people that they have actually used in the studies. So even if you drink a small quantity, the perception before was that it is something that I just do for entertainment. It's good for the heart. You've heard all these things, isn't it? Even some doctors would say that. So, but the thing is, they neglect to tell you. The same doctors do not tell you about the other organs is damaging, like the liver, for example.
I don't agree. Where I don't agree with alcohol is like cigarettes as well. Both of them, I think, should be harap. Both of them. I don't agree with alcohol or cigarettes in the sense of overconsumption.
No, even a small quantity is bad. Not only overconsumption. Overconsumption is definitely wrong.
But what is your opinion about cigarettes?
Same thing I just told you earlier.
Yeah.
I said I disagree with both of them. Both of them should not be permitted because both of them harm your body. It is something which is unnecessary. It is just entertainment. Yeah, it's not like you will die without that unless you're extremely addicted to it.
Okay.
And even that, there are ways you can actually wean yourself away from that addiction. Go to rehab if necessary. Okay. So I see drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, all of these harm your body. Whether you get addicted or not, even small quantities harm you.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm coming from. You see, in the Quran, we have a general ruling that anything that harms your body is something which should not be allowed. It's not permitted. And this includes, by the way, fatty food or food that harms you, all that stuff. Again, you have to be careful about what you eat and what you drink. So I'm not saying to ban food altogether. All I'm saying is that being sensible human beings, we should be careful about what we eat and drink. And if something is definitely wrong, like cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, then there should be no question about maybe if once a month, all this shouldn't be there. It's bad for you. It's like how somebody will come and offer you poison and you'll immediately say, I don't want to take that because it's going to harm me.
Well, here's the thing. I'm following my routine and I'm not doing bad.
I didn't say, look, when you say I'm not doing...
I'm not doing bad.
Look.
I follow my routine.
No, when you say I'm not doing bad,
Yeah.
do you recognize that even once a month that alcohol harms you?
Well, like I said, I drink very little, very rarely. I think that I don't smoke.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I don't want to make this personal to you.
Yeah.
I'm talking generally.
Yeah, but
Okay?
I'm telling you that,
Yeah.
that you were talking about how I live my life. You were talking about the rules I base my life on.
Yes.
I base my life on my lived experience,
Yeah.
the things I got from my parents, and what I've learned, which is kind of good for me.
Yeah, I mean, generally you seem like a nice person. I mean, I'm not denying that. All I'm saying is that...
One of the reasons that I have actually reduced my alcohol significantly. I did never drunk a lot anyway, but I've reduced it from maybe once every 2 weeks to once a month. Is because as I've gotten older, I've recognised the damage it does to me. So that is why I've reduced it, and I'll probably knock it on the head because I'm not a fan of it, because I can't sleep if I have. So my body says, you're not going to sleep.
You see, that's a good thing. You're reducing it, which is a positive thing you're doing. You're moving in the right direction. But you see, I was talking generally. Generally, the reason the government promotes these things, even though the government knows it harms you, is because the interest and the welfare of the people is not their priority.
The cash is the money. That the cash is
Absolutely. So the bottom line is to basically to line the pockets.
Yeah,
And the profit that comes from these things like alcohol and cigarettes is massive. It's huge. Do you know how many people die every day from alcoholism?
It's the same as smoking.
No, I think smoking is probably more.
And it's
But
obesity.
give me a rough idea. Let's see.
I have no idea, but if you look at the whole lot,
Yeah.
if you look at alcohol, obesity, and smoking, the figures are astronomical. And the sad thing is that it's all self-administered.
Yeah. So more people die because of alcohol than the wars in the world.
I can accept that.
2.7 million people every year. Preventable deaths.
Yeah.
Now, if this is not a catastrophe around the world, then I don't know what is. Ultimately, your biases, your whims and desires come in the way. Because it becomes like it's only based on my experiences that I decide to do what is good and bad. But your experiences might just be a fraction of what the world is.
But again,
You asked me a question, allow me to finish. I'll give you a chance, don't worry. Okay? So you see, your experiences are, again, subjective. It is not the standard. What I mean by good and bad, I mean objectively good and objectively bad. It is not like, for example, take rape, for example. I don't think we would agree in any circumstance rape is good. Okay, so it's objectively wrong. Right? So there are things which are objectively wrong, which everyone, regardless of whether you believe in religion or God, or you believe in whatever ideology, or you're an atheist or agnostic, you will come to a same common understanding. Same thing goes with murder. Okay, which means like unjust killing of someone. And this is again wrong. So there are things which we generally as human beings do, consider to be right. But you see, there comes a time, like in our current society, take the case of Gaza. Yes, when genocide is happening right in front of our eyes, with all the, footage, with the videos available to us today, and this is something no one can deny. Most of the countries today do not do much about it. They do not stop the arms export to Israel, for example, or to stop the genocide over there, or to exclude them from sports, or like they did with South Africa when they were, the ones who said it's okay to have apartheid in the country. We have apartheid in Israel. So you see, when we have humanity which is in conflict with morality and what is right and wrong, and at a major scale, at the world international scale, then this is where we see the problem being highlighted as to why we need God to tell us what is objectively wrong and what is objectively permitted.
So if I talk about what's going on in Nigeria now, or in
Yeah.
Congo, or in loads of other places in the world,
Yeah, anywhere where there is,
a million people are
yeah,
trafficked.
everywhere there is oppression, I'm against it. It doesn't matter if the Muslims are doing it, if the Jews are doing it, if the Christians are doing it, if the Hindus are doing it, or the Buddhists are doing it,
So again,
or regardless of atheists or whoever does it.
So again, we are in agreement that our standards
Yeah.
are actually quite similar. Our standards are actually quite similar because we're recognizing where injustice is.
Yes, yes. Generally we do, yeah.
So I'm using
Except for one topic you didn't want to talk.
But I don't want to talk about that topic because I don't want to talk about it.
No, except that I said. Other than that, that's fine.
Again.
Because to me, that is also injustice. An unborn child being killed is injustice.
Okay, we'll moving on.
Yeah,
from
I know.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I said
so-
accept that.
Okay, so what is your ultimate goal here?
My ultimate goal here is that instead of humans deciding what is good and bad, we leave it up to God. That is the entire point I was making throughout this discussion, in case you didn't notice. I'm saying objective morality only comes from Almighty God, because human beings, as you and I both recognize that we are wrong in our lives. We make mistakes, we can be right about things, and we can be wrong about things. So if you're talking about morality, then I think you should leave that to the one who is the most just, the one who knows us, the one who created us, and he should be the one to dictate to us as to what is good and right, rather than some government who doesn't even care about our welfare when it comes to alcohol, cigarettes, and even drugs sometimes, like in Amsterdam,
Is our God, who's a better God then? Because if
I don't know your God yet, so I can't compare.
so if I
Maybe your God is Allah. So I might be saying, let's,
if I believe in a God and you
Yeah.
believe in a God, who is the better God?
No, look, the question,
Who is the better God?
hold on. Before you say who's a better God, tell us a bit about your God. Because all you told me is,
I told you.
you told me something an atheist would also believe.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be a God-believing person to have the morals which you already told us about. They're very generic.
But I've said this is I believe there's something out there.
Yeah.
There's a heaven up there, and I believe that I have a standard of behaviour, maybe based on the fact there is something up.
But how do you know there's heaven up there? How do you know that?
How do you know?
I know from the Quran. How do you know?
I know because I believe there's something there.
Based on what?
Based on my belief.
But your belief is based on what?
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Oh, question with the question.
This-
Okay, I like
this is
that.
a good one, this is a good one.
Go on.
So here's a belief. So you believe in Islam,
Yes.
right? That Gabriel, so
Jibreel.
Jibreel,
Jibreel alayhi salam, yeah.
appeared
angel.
to Muhammad
Yes.
over 23 years. Okay?
Yeah.
And,
He brought the revelation over 23 years.
yeah,
He didn't
over
appear to him.
23
Yeah.
years. And the miracle was the resulting Quran, right? You believe that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So my belief is something different. Where I believe in a God that is up there, that is in heaven, that I choose to worship in my way, right? So who's the better God?
You haven't answered my question yet. You evaded it again. I asked you, how do you know what you believe is true? Other than your own whims and desire.
I don't.
Okay,
I mean,
so
look at you.
no, look, my standard is the Quran. I've already made that very
But
clear.
again,
Let me
that
finish.
standard- That standard is based on a belief
Yes.
that you believe that a person.
Oh, we have a testimony from a man who did exist.
Yeah, but
His name was Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. So we have his teachings, which are in. Allow me to finish, please, with all due respect.
Yeah, okay.
So I have a very clear standard as to what
Yeah.
comes from where, because I'm not just believing something like some mythology,
Yeah.
like the Hindus do. For example, you ask them to give us examples or evidence of Ram and Krishna
Yeah.
when they existed. Some of them say 800,000 years ago, like around the Ice Age, when there were no human beings around.
Yeah.
So my standard is realistic from the perspective. You see, I can show you the Quran and I can show you the miracle of the Quran. One of the challenges of the Quran is Allah says in the Quran that if you are in doubt, then produce a chapter like it. A chapter like the Quran. The smallest chapter in the Quran is only 3 lines. And to this day, for 1400 years, that challenge still stands. You believe in the Day of Judgment?
I think it will come. I
Okay.
don't know what that will look like. I'm not.
No, neither do I. We don't know what it's going. We are giving certain glimpses of it in the Islamic literature, but none of us.
Too good for women, though.
No. Hold on. By the way, whether women or men, one thing in Islam is clear:
Yeah.
that Allah will not judge you based on your gender, or whether you're white or black, or you're rich or poor, you're Arab or non-Arab. Allah will base you on your piety. He'll judge you based on your piety.
So what's the woman's version of heaven?
No. Before you ask me that,
I
let's.
have to ask you that.
That's fine. That's fine. By the way, in the Quran.
I just feel like it's a good question to ask.
Okay, I will answer that question. Remind me later, but I don't want to stop the thought.
He's laughing in the background. When
I have no idea why you laugh, but anyway, if we go based on Islam, Islam is very clear about who goes to heaven and who goes to hell, and it includes both men and women. It's not just men, right? And Allah tells us in the Quran that whatever they desire in Jannah, they will have it. Okay, there are certain things which Allah gives us glimpses of, and He gives us an idea, but there's no way. It basically says, I think in the Quran and also in the Bible, that there are things which your eyes have never seen, your mind has never thought about, and your ears have never heard about. So this, I believe, is something that is for the akhirah, for the unknown, dimension there. What we know so far is that in this world, we are sent with a purpose. Okay, you said your purpose was to generally for the welfare of people, for your own welfare and so on. That's fine. Generally, is good. But what is the biggest thing or the biggest sin you think is in Islam?
I have no idea.
Okay, it's not murder, it's not rape, it's not even genocide. The biggest sin is to reject Allah as God. Okay, and associate partners with Him. This is called shirk. So this is the first pillar in Islam: to believe in Allah and to believe in the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, as a final messenger. So yeah, go and read the biography or the seerah of Muhammad. There's one called The Sealed Nectar. Read it and you'll understand that how can someone who didn't know how to read and write produce a book like the Quran, which is inimitable. It cannot be his.
That's one of the questions I asked, because obviously the revelation was over 23 years.
Yes.
So it would have been, and there's not much. If I think about the revelation, to be fair, for the length of the Quran, it doesn't seem there was really much revealed over that time.
I think there's a lot revealed in a very concise book. Okay. Today, the majority of the people who actually memorize their book is the Quran. So the Quran, even though the people who are non-Arabs, majority of them, majority of Muslims, like 80% are non-Arabs. And we got like millions of people who have memorized this from cover to cover. Yeah, no problem. My name is Hashim, by the way.
I wouldn't shake your hand.
No. What's your name?
Gail.
Gail, likewise, you take care. And may God guide us all to the right path, yeah? Right. May Allah give the sister hidayah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.